Hello, welcome to another video tutorial in JavaScript, and in this video tutorial I'm going to talk about math objects. So math objects are very common and useful methods and functions built in JavaScript that developers use to develop games, for example, or whenever they have equations or complex results that they need for their applications or games or whatever, they use math objects in JavaScript to calculate those equations. I'm just going to show you just a few simple examples, okay? And so to start, I'm going to type, let's type document write. And to create or to use a math object, the first thing you have to do is type math between the parentheses and with capital M, and then you type dot, and now you can use whatever object or method you want. There are many that you can use. I'm going to use the first one that is called round, and then parentheses. So I'm calling these objects. So we didn't talk about objects yet. I'm going to do a video tutorial about it in JavaScript, and we will learn how to use objects and create objects and what objects are. But for now, you can think of objects as methods or functions, built-in methods or functions in JavaScript. Okay. So now I'm using the round object or method, and between the parentheses I'm going to type 3.2, a decimal number. Okay. So what this will output in the web page is the nearest whole number of 3.2, which is 3. Okay, and as you will see, if you run it, there it is, 3. Okay, so if I type, for example, 3.6 and run this, you'll see that we have 4. Okay, so this is something that is very useful for complex equations and calculations. Normally, as I told you before, normally they are used in development and games and something like that. I don't usually use math objects for my development and applications or websites, but it's something that exists in JavaScript, so I need to talk about it and show you at least some simple examples. And another cool object that you can use, math object, is the random. Okay, so random is something that will calculate a number randomly, or will give you a random number, and this could be useful for example, gambling website with or some kind of lottery or something like that. So I'm gonna give you an example. So the first thing you have to do is between the parentheses, after the parentheses, type the multiply symbol and 100, and after this plus 1. Okay, and we have to wrap it up with a parenthesis here, and there it is. Okay, basically what this will do is give you a random number between 1 and 100. Let me just check this in Chrome, and there it is. Okay, it gives you 44.99, okay, a decimal number. So what about if I don't want a decimal number? So to do it, just have to type in here math dot floor, okay, and wrap this up in let me see, okay, wrap this up in another parenthesis. So let me just save this and let me see if it works. There it is. Okay, perfect. So between 1 and 100, it's given me, as you refresh, anytime you refresh, it gives you a random number. Okay, and you can put here more than 100, 1,000, 200, or 1,000. Okay, so that's basically it. These are just simple math objects examples, and but I'm gonna put in the list, I'm gonna leave you. I'm gonna put available a list in the at the end of the chapter with some more math objects that you can use. Okay, guys, as well as the event handlers and some more methods in JavaScript. So if you have any questions, just send me a message or leave your questions in the comment section below, and see you guys later. Bye. Hello guys, welcome to another JavaScript tutorial, and in this video tutorial I will talk I'm gonna show you how to create your first event handler. So the first thing we need to do is create a form in the body section. So let's create here form, and let's close it, form, and hope you guys remember HTML. And in here I'm going to type input type equals a button, and let's give it a name. Let's call this submit, and the value, which is whatever we want to appear in the button, is submit as well. Now let's close it, and here is where I'm going to type some JavaScript code in a second, but for now on don't need no JavaScript code. I'm going to show you how to do it all in line in HTML here. So the first event handler I'm going to show you, event handlers is something that you use to create events whenever you click something or you mouse over it. Okay, and JavaScript has a lot of features like that, pretty cool features, as you'll see. So the first and most common, most known event handler that probably some of you already heard about it is onClick. So onClick is very, very common, and which means is whenever you click this button that we created here in the form, whenever we click it, do some action. So the action is, for example, I can type directly between these double quotes, directly I can type here some JavaScript code. For example, document write, whatever. I'm going to use an alert box, which is more, it's cooler to use it, an alert box. So inside the parentheses I'm going to type this works. Okay, now you'll see that we have a little problem here, which is if you guys are using Notepad++, and for all of you that are not using Notepad++, probably you also have this in another color. Basically the editor is saying to us that the alert, these double quotes, this double quote starts here and it ends here. So this is an action. Okay, this is not an action anymore, and as you can see it's in black. So why is that? Because it's making some confusion, JavaScript, with these, or HTML, it's making some confusion with these double quotes here. So to prevent this, we have to type a single quote in here and a single quote in here. You will see that right away this reads as a whole. Okay, we have the beginning of double quotes and the ending of double quotes. Okay, so make sure you have single quotes in here. And of course, we have type semicolon at the end. Don't forget that. Now let us see if this works. So open Chrome, you have submit, and if we click, there it is. Okay, perfect. This works. So if it's not working, is because you forgot to do something or to put something. Make sure you have the code as I have in here. Okay, and now something that I can also do. Another thing is, for example, create here a function. Let's call this function test. And here, let's grab this piece of JavaScript code, copy it, and put it in the function. Save this. And now in here, instead of putting directly the JavaScript code, I just have to call the test function. Okay, pretty awesome. Save this. Okay, and as you'll see, if I go to Chrome and click it, it still works. Okay, so instead of putting, if you have a large amount of code, instead of putting the code here directly with a few lines of code, you can put it in a function and then call the function. Okay, so you will write less code in here. Now there are a lot of different as I told you, event handlers. I'm gonna put a list of event handlers or basically the majority of the event handlers that you can use, or the most common ones, in a list or a file that you can find it at the end of the chapter, JavaScript chapter. Okay, as well with all the methods, and I'm going to put all those things in one file so you can check that out. But you can also go to Web3 Schools, and I already mentioned this a lot. You can find here everything you need, and you have, let me check here, JS Events. Click it. Okay, and here you have a lot of events that you can use. Let me check here, down here in the events page. Okay, JavaScript events. Down here you have event reference. Okay, so click it, and here you have all the events that you can use. Okay, in these situations. Okay, let me just use the on mouse over. You have the description as well. Pretty cool. So let me check here and type on mouse over. On mouse over basically is, as the name says, as soon as I pass the cursor between, or the mouse over the button, it will automatically show the alert box or call the function. So as you will see, Chrome, see, I didn't click it. As soon as I pass the mouse over it, it calls the function and appears the alert box. Okay, so these are just a few simple events you can use, and if you have any questions, just send me a message or leave your questions in the comment section below. See you guys later. Bye. Hello, welcome to another JavaScript tutorial. And in this video tutorial, I'm going to teach you how to create your first object. So we will start entering the world of objects, and I'm going to explain you, I'm going to dedicate a full video tutorial later on the course about object-oriented programming, which is basically a way to code and organize your code using objects. But I'm going to teach you how to build objects right away, even before I start talking about object-oriented programming. So you can think, I already mentioned, you can think right now of objects as more or less a function. So objects is something that has their own properties, as I'm going to show you now, creating a new one, a new object, and we can give and design properties to it, and we will use then the object in object-oriented programming. But let's start from the basics. So the first thing you have to do to create an object is, let's create a function, and let's call this function my hero. Okay, parentheses, curly braces. Now inside the parentheses we're going to type 3 parameters of this function. The first is going to be name, the second one is species, and the third one is strength. Now let's imagine I'm creating a new object for a game. So the object is not created yet. Okay, this is not an object, this is a function. But in order to create an object with specific properties or parameters, we need to create a function first, which is this one I'm creating now. It's called my hero. It has 3 parameters: a name, the species, and strength. And now I'm going to specify and designate each parameter to a name. So to do that, we need to use the this word. Now this designates the parameter into a new name. So I'm going to use this dot, and now I have to call whatever parameter I want, name, and this is going to be equal to the name. This species equals to species, and this strength equals to strength. Strength. Okay, so now we have designated a name for each property, and as you see, the name that I'm giving to each parameter is the same one. So species, species, strength, strength, name, name. Now down here we have now a function designating each parameter to each different name. And now what I'm going to do here is create the object. Now to create an object, the first thing you have to create is a variable, and I'm going to call the variable hero. Okay, and this is going to be equal to new, and now new is when I mean new here, I mean new object, and the object will be hold, or the variable hero will hold the new object. So now after new we type the name of the function, which is my hero. Oops, I forgot here. It's not hero-y, it's hero. And here is my hero, and parentheses. Okay. Now inside a parenthesis we type whatever designation we want to give to the name, species, and strength. So let's give the name called Victor. The species is human, and the strength is maximum strength. Okay, or you can give it a digit, okay, an integer, 300. Now here, if I want to use now the object, I just have to type, for example, document, right? And here I can type the name of the hero. The name of the hero is aggregate, and here I can type now I have to type the name of the object, okay, because I want to call the object and a property of the object, which is the name. Now here I can type, or I have to type hero, which is the variable that holds the object. We never use the object or the name of the object directly. We have to use the variable name, which holds the object itself. So hero dot, and now we use name, okay, which is this one here. And I think this is all. Basically what we'll see is the name of the hero is Victor. It's pretty simple. Let me launch this in Chrome. Okay, perfect. Okay, the name of the hero is Victor. So I can change this and say the species of the hero, and change this here to species, and this will be the species of the hero is human. Let me check now with the strength, which is an integer or a number, and let me refresh, and there it is. The species of the hero is 300. Okay, and this is basically how we use a simple or how to create a simple object, and how to output the object or the properties of the object in a string, and yeah, that's it. For now, this is you can play a little bit more with the code and try yourself new things here, or new properties, include more properties if you want to, and try to output them all at once. And if you have any questions at all, just send me a private message and I will come back to you as soon as possible. Thank you. Bye. Hi guys, welcome to another JavaScript video tutorial, and in this video I'm going to teach you how to use object initializers. So object initializers is a better and faster way to create your objects. So we learned in the last video with this code how to create and designate properties to an object with a function and parameters, and then how to use it to output something in the web page. Now I'm going to show you a faster way to do all these things. So the first thing is create let's create a variable hero. This is going to be equal to let's type now curly braces, okay, and here we type name and colon, and then we type double quotes, and now we type Victor, comma, and as you see I'm basically putting the properties that I want to use in the object, and now here human directly as an more or less as an array. Okay, so basically this is like an array with the properties that I want to use in the object. And now is strength. That's strength colon, and let me type here 300. Okay, Now down here I have to type down here semicolon. Now down here, no, I think I don't need a semicolon here. Now down here I type directly document write, and in here I type the name of the hero is an aggregate hero dot name. Okay, now hopefully this will output basically the same thing that we made it in the last video, but with a lot less lines of code. As you can see, we only need 2 lines of code. So let me check this, and there it is. The name of the hero is Victor, and as I did in the last video, I can change this to species, the other property, refresh, human, and finally strength, and define. Okay, so this doesn't work for integers. We have to put it in a string, so you have to put double quotes. Refresh, it doesn't work at all. So instead of this, let's type here max. Oh, I know why it's not working. Sorry guys. The T is before the H, not after. So let's save this. Refresh, and there it is. Okay, perfect. As you can see, an object initializer, you only need to put the create a variable. Automatically is created in the object, and then here you can type the properties you want to give to the object, and automatically in the next line you can output whatever you want or whatever property of the object you want. Okay, pretty simpler, pretty fast, and clean. So if you have any questions, just send me a private message or post your questions in the comment section below. See you guys in the next video. Bye. Hello guys, and welcome to my 19th video tutorial on JavaScript. And this video I'm going to build a very basic login system using JavaScript, and it's a very basic login system. I'm going to use only a password, okay? And we're going to build or we're going to use some functions and also some if statements, okay? So if you guys don't remember how functions and if statements work, I recommend you guys to search for the video tutorials on that, and then you can come back here. So let's start by building a variable called register equals prompt. So you remember what the prompt were? Okay, the prompts were well, you already you're gonna see right away what the prompt is. So let's type inside the parentheses between the double quotes, let's type you are not registered. Please type a password to register. Okay, so let's save this and see the prompt if this works. There it is. The prompt is this pop-up box saying you are not registered, please type a password to register, and then we have a little space in blank to type anything we want. Okay, in this case we will type a password here, but if we click OK, nothing happens because we didn't complete the code yet. So now we're gonna build 2 different functions. One function we're gonna build with the name success, okay, and this function we will use this function later on to send us to a page or to output something on the web page in form of success, okay, or to output something saying that the password was correct and saying something like success or something like that. So let's type document.write, and if password is correct, I want to output success. You are now in the registered users area or page. Success, you are now in the registered users page. Okay, and now we're going to build another function for a wrong password. Okay, in the case we type a wrong password, okay, we will output something saying error or wrong password or something like that. So function, let's type failed. Function failed. Document write. Let's say wrong password. You are now in the non-registered users page. Okay, so now we have the two functions, one for the correct password and that will output this message here, and another one for the wrong password, which will output this message here. And now we're gonna need an if statement, okay? And I hope you guys remember how if statements work. If you don't remember, you can go to the video tutorial on JavaScript about if statements. So let's type if register is not equal to nothing. Okay, so this means that, I don't know if we already talked about this comparison operator here, which means not equal to. Okay, so if the password, which is the variable, the password that is stored in the variable register at the beginning, if the password is not equal to nothing, okay, that is like saying that if the password is something, we're gonna run this code. So if the password, if we typed something in the password, please run this code, and the code is going to be a prompt, another prompt saying you have registered with a valid password. Please enter, or please confirm your password to enter the users page, or to proceed. Okay, you have registered with a valid password. Please confirm your password to proceed to the users page. Okay, so now we're gonna type else. Okay, in case that we don't type nothing in the prompt. Okay, so if registered is not equal to something, prompt this. Else, okay, or if registered is equal to 0, type or output an alert saying you have, let's put error first, error, and then let's type you have to type something as a password. Okay, so let's see if this works. Let's run this in Chrome. And the first prompt is, you are not registered. Please type a password to register. Okay, the first prompt is to register. Now we're gonna type Victor as my password to register. Enter. So now Victor is stored in registered variable. Okay, remember. You can see this here. Okay, the variable register now has stored has the value of Victor. Okay, so now Victor, which is in here, Victor, if Victor is not equal to nothing, do prompt. Okay, this prompt. So in this case, Victor or the register is not equal to something. So the prompt appeared. Okay, the next prompt that we typed, this prompt here. Okay, so we now type anything we want, click OK, nothing happens. Okay, but if register is not equal to 0, okay, do this. Else, do alert. Okay, saying error, you have to type something. Okay, so this else means if we leave the password in blank. So I'm gonna leave now in blank, click OK, and there it is, error, you have to type something as a password. Okay guys, so now we're gonna proceed, and after prompt we gonna type another if statement, okay, to use the functions success and failed. Okay, because we want to compare the first password in the first prompt with the second password that we type in the second prompt. Okay, so after the second prompt we ask again for the same password. Okay, and we need now a comparison saying if register is exactly equal to this prompt here, and you know that to use the value that we type in this prompt we need a variable. Okay, we need to store this in a variable, so we're gonna store this in a variable called user. Okay, so now when we type in the second prompt, in this prompt here, the second password or our password in this prompt, that password will be stored in user, and now we can compare registered, okay, with user. Okay, so if the password that we type here is equal to the password that we type here, okay, see, register equals exactly to user, do this code here, run this code, and the code will be the success function, okay, which is the document write that will output success. You are now in the registered users page. So we type here success and parentheses, okay, and we type here else the other function, which is failed. Okay, failed. Okay, and that's it. Okay, so now the two passwords will compare one with each other, and if they are correct, we will output this success message, and if it's not correct, we will output the failed message or the failed function, which has this message. Okay, so let's see if this works. Chrome. So you're not registered, please type a password. Okay, type my password is Victor. Now in the second, the password is Victor. Click OK. Success. You are now in the registered users page. Okay, but what about if we don't type the same password? Let's type password Victor, and now let's type another thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Click enter, and wrong password. You are now in the non-registered users page. So the login system didn't accept the password because it's a wrong password. Okay, it's not the same password that we registered. Okay. And what about if we leave this in blank? Click OK. Error. You have to type something. Okay. So let's type some. Victor. And that's it. Okay, success. So you see, this is a very simple example on a login system. Okay, very, very simple. But it's a beginning, okay, for you to have an idea how the code, a more extended code works in JavaScript. Okay, so if you have any questions at all, just send me a message. Okay, and see you guys in the next video. Bye.